Hello everyone. So welcome to the part 5 of this video where we are going to see the creating of financial statements. So just before this video, in the previous part 4 video, we created the adjusted trial balance, and this is what is the adjusted trial balance, what you see in your screen. And using this we can make simple financial statements. Okay, so for those of you who are directly coming to this video, so I am making a series of videos in a form of playlist, and in this part I am solving this P4 4-8A. This is a problem, and we finished so far. We finished A, B, C, D, and E, and even F, preparing an adjusted trial balance. Now, part G, we are doing preparing income statement and retained earnings statement for July, and a classified balance sheet at July 31st. So this G part is what we are now trying to solve. Again, those of you who are following this as an exercise, you can pause the video here and try to solve yourself, and later you can compare your answers with my answers, so that you will be able to confirm your understanding. Okay, so what is the right now requirement? Income statement is a requirement. And what does the income statement contain? Income statement contains all the revenues and expenses. So if you look at the trial balance, adjusted trial balance, and if you start from the top, it is so prepared here such that, see, number 13 is the revenue. Okay, so we got the revenue in the credit balance, and then 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18, they are all the expenses. So here properly it is nicely made. All the expenses are in one place, and if you see the above part, there nothing is there in the form of expenses. So and this thing, so only we need revenue and expenses in the income statement. So in fact, if you take this last part, that itself is your income statement. So let's simply do that. It's very easy. So clean window, that is the name of the company. Washing Inc. So for the month of July 2014. Okay, so for July 2014, I'm saying income statement. So how does the income statement look like? The first line will be revenues. So what are my revenues? So I have only service revenue, and from the trial balance, so I can find service revenue to be 7,900. So this is dollar 7,900 is the service revenue. Next, I have expenses. See, in this problem only one type of revenue is there, so therefore we don't have to worry about other things. So now expenses. So what are the expenses? We have 5 different expenses: maintenance and repair, supplies, depreciation, insurance, salaries and wages. Okay, so maintenance and repair expense. Okay. Next I have supplies expense. Next I have depreciation, insurance. Insurance expense, and finally salaries and wages expense. So now if I add all these 5 expenses, so I have 290, then I have 580, then I have 180, 150 and 2400. So what are my total expenses? So let me quickly add that. So I have 290 plus 580 plus 180 plus 150 plus 2400. So I'm getting 3600 as my overall expenses. So and what is my net income? So net income will be revenues minus expenses. So I will get 7900 minus 3600. So I'm getting 4300 as my net income. Okay. So this completes the income statement for the clean window washing income statement. That's it. Now after the income statement, we need to create the retained earnings statement. So let's do that. clean window washing ink. Okay, so for July 2014, so retained earnings statement. Okay, so take this as a correct spelling. Now, how does the retained earnings statement starts? The first entry will be retained earnings at the beginning. BGNING, beginning of the month. Okay. So now, since if you look at the problem statement, so they have given that Mike Greenberg opened clean window washing ink on July 1st. So since the company itself was opened on July 1st, the retained earnings will be zero at the beginning of July 1st. Okay. So now I have net income. So I have to say add. Okay, so to the old retained earnings, I have to add the net income, and here you see 4,300 was the net income. So I have to add that. Then I have to less, that is subtract dividends, whatever dividends are paid. Okay, so now if you look at the trial balance, so we have a dividends of 600. Okay, so that 600 I have to subtract from this. So then I have retained earnings. Okay, so as of July 31st. So this is the ending retained earning. Okay, so 4,300 minus 600. So I'll get 3,700 as my final retained earnings. Okay, so this becomes my retained earnings statement. So now I have both income statement and retained earnings statement. So let us now go ahead and make the classified balance sheet. Okay, so clean window washing ink. Okay, so I wantedly stretched it into 2 pages. So here as of 31st July 2014, and then I have classified balance sheet. Okay, so now I'm making a classified balance sheet. Okay, so as it is, so it will have assets and liabilities. So under the assets we have current assets. Under the liabilities we have current liabilities. So let's go back to the trial balance and see what are the current assets. Okay, so now if you see, cash is a current asset, assets, accounts receivable is a current asset, supplies is a current asset, prepaid insurance is a current asset. Now equipment, accumulated depreciation, these go into plant, property and equipment. So these are not current assets. Account payable, salaries and these are all into liabilities. Okay, these are into what you call the equity. Now these are all expenses. So nothing. So only 4 current assets are there. So I will copy as it is: cash, account receivable, supplies and prepaid insurance. Okay, so cash, accounts receivable, supplies and prepaid insurance. Now what are the values? 5410 and 6300. Supplies is 320 and prepaid insurance 1650. So the total of this current assets, okay, so total current assets, how much is it? So let's add 5410 plus 5410 plus 6300 plus 320 plus 1650. Okay, so I am getting 13,680 as my total of current assets. Okay, so not only current assets, now I need to go for plant, property. Let me change the pen. Plant, property and equipment. So this is one of the other types. So under this plant, property and equipment, I have equipment whose value is at 8,000, okay, and accumulated depreciation of equipment. Okay, so accumulated depreciation of equipment is at 180. Okay, so 180. So the net value of equipment is 8,000 minus 180. Okay, so I'm getting 7820. So now that's it. I don't have any other assets mentioned here. So I will get the total of assets. Total assets. So this plus 13680. So I'm getting $21,500 as my total of assets. Okay. So now comes to liabilities. Okay. So now what are the current liabilities? Again, if I go back to the trial balance, what are the current liabilities? So accounts payable, salaries and wages payable. These two appear to be the current liabilities. Okay. So let me write down that one. So accounts payable, salaries and wages payable. So accounts payable is 5,400, salaries and wages payable is 400. So this total is now 5,800. Next, I have long-term liabilities. So in fact, if you see, there are no long-term liabilities. So we have already covered equipment in this one. So common stock, retained earnings and etc. are there. So we don't have any long-term liabilities. So directly I'll go for equity. So under equity, common stock and retained earnings. Okay, so what is a common stock? So here it is 12,000. So let me make that entry 12,000 and retained earnings. Now, if you look at the trial balance, in the trial balance, retained earnings is 0 actually. But this 0 retained earnings is not as of 31st July because this is as of the 1st July. Here we have all these expenses and dividends, everything is there. Revenue is also there. So if you look at your retained earnings statement, in the retained earnings statement, we have the actual number 3,700. So this is the number that you need to use. Okay? So here I am saying 3,700. So the total here will become 15,700 as my retained earnings. So this is the important point. Now I have total of liabilities plus equities, L plus E. Okay, so what is that? So 5,800 plus 15,000, 15,700 plus 5,800. So again, exactly, I'm getting $21,500. So this liabilities total is equal to assets total. Therefore, this completely now what we have here on the screen is the classified balance sheet of the Clean Window Washing Inc. So from this trial balance, we were able to create all these entries: income statement, retained earnings statement, and this classified balance sheet. Okay. So again, going back to the question, so we finished part G. Now I have H and I. We'll do that in the later videos. So we finished up to 7 steps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 we finished. Next, making closing entries is the last step that we need to do. Okay. So with this, I will stop here. If you like this video, please press the like button and please follow this series of lectures in the playlist according to the order. So this is the part 5 and we'll see you next in the part 6 of this video. Thank you.